Hey everybody at STAA, my name is Brandon Cadiz and I'm a junior at St. Mary's College of California. Looking forward to applying and getting the award for the Jim Nantz Award and making that list and representing St. Mary's. I just wanted to thank my team here for helping me out on the broadcast all season long. Wouldn't have been possible without them. A lot of college broadcasters don't take the time to thank their team, so I wanted to do that for them. And go Gales, and looking forward to making that list and become the second WCC broadcaster to make that list.
Brandon Cadiz here at the Orleans Arena. Tip-off about to get started between St. Mary's and Gonzaga. No surprises here between these two teams. Number 1 and number 4, St. Mary's will be the road team due to the lower seed. It's the 72nd time in program history and the 8th time at a neutral site in the WCC tournament that the two teams have faced off against each other. Gonzaga holds a 6-1 overall mark against the Gales at a neutral site and a perfect 4-0 against St. Mary's in Las Vegas. The number 1 team ranked number 14th if you're looking at the AP poll, number 12 if you're looking about the coaches poll, and that's the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Gonzaga will be wearing their all-whites here with the red and blue trim on of their side of their jerseys. St. Mary's with the road blues, the red numbering, and the St. Mary's logo right across the chest. It's a neutral site game, but the Gonzaga fans have packed the Union Credit Union WCC tournament here at Orleans Arena with a packed crowd, bringing all the fans from Spokane, Washington, and that's not anything new. They always come out in great form here in the tournament, and as you hear the fans here, it should be a good one. In that interview with Coach Paul Thomas, he talked about both teams playing amazing defense against each other. The last time out in the first game in Spokane, Gonzaga took that one 74-62. St. Mary's stood with Gonzaga through the last fourth quarter and the last 4 minutes. The time in Moraga, though, a different story. St. Mary's lost 66-52. Turnovers were the story in that first game at Gonzaga. St. Mary's turnover-wise had 18 in Spokane, but the glaring number and the difference, if you're looking at it from the last 2 games combined, the three-point shooting for St. Mary's, only 9 for 43. Not what you want for Coach Paul Thomas, and he talked about getting those open looks, but the shots are just not falling. As we near the center court, and it'll be Megan McKay and Zykira Rice. Tip-off about to get started here at the Orleans Arena. We are set for tip-off, and here we go. The jump ball, and the Gales will have it first. Going left to right on your radio dial. It's St. Mary's and the Bulldogs. Raggio drives left. Left low block, and rejected there by Leanne Worth. Gonzaga in transition. Katie Campbell to Zykira Rice. Megan McKay on the near left block, no good. Rebound by Leanne Worth, and rejected by Cotting. Cotting in transition now for St. Mary's. Far baseline, left wing, dribbles it, bounce pass to Madeline Holland. Pocket left corner 3, and a great feed inside by Megan McKay, who just blows the layup. As we're nearing 1 minute into this game, Laura Stockton swings it out to Katie Campbell on the right wing. Madeline Holland mirroring her, orbiting the perimeter to Chandler Smith. Zykira Rice near block, then the jumper out. Megan McKay with the rebound. McKay looking for some help, and she'll give it to Emily Cotting. Cotting near the far hash mark from us in front of the Gonzaga bench. As she pounds her dribbles, picks up, swing pass, Simons unloads the 3-ball, and that's good. St. Mary's with the first 3-pointer on the right wing, thanks to the all-freshman team member, Sam Simons. It's a 3-0 lead, 8:36 left in the first quarter. Chandler Smith mirroring with Sam Simons there. Near the elbow, Zykira Rice drives, and great hands by Sam. Simons steals it. She has numbers on a 2-on-1 break, and she'll go for the layup, but blows it in transition. Should have been a bucket for St. Mary's, but the layup is no good. A steal for Simons right after her 3-pointer, and St. Mary's off to a hot start with that three-pointer. Again, we said 9 for 43 in the combined 2 games, so a good drop early there for St. Mary's. Looks to be what Coach Paul Thomas wanted, a hot and early offensive start as Ikira Rice will come out. Genworth into the game. Holland will trigger in front of the Gonzaga bench. Gets it into Simons. Fresh shot clock to Cotting on the right wing. She circles, goes around, drives, and a floating shot to the left wing, to the left low block is no good. McKay had it initially, but the Bulldogs will have it. Right wing in front of the St. Mary's bench. Campbell, handoff to Chandler Smith. Gales man-to-man early. Leanne Worth drives past Megan McKay, but Raggio there on the help, and good help defense. That's what we saw early against the Lions on Saturday. Sam Simons doing a great job against Laura Stockton. Pressing, harassing defense by Stockton, forces Sam to pick up her dribble, but Madeline Holland on the right elbow jump shot from about 8 feet, gets it to go, and St. Mary's up early 5-0. 7:24 left in the first quarter. Gale Force letting the crowd hear it. And an off-ball foul, that's going to be on Madeline Holland. Holland's first personal, first team foul. As there was a collision between Laura Stockton and Madeline Holland. Both fall to the floor, but it'll be charged on Holland. Stockton on McKay. The help defense by Raggio. Raggio just standing her ground early on, and the Gales are pushing it. Crossing the timeline, Simons kicks it out in the right pocket. Cotting drifts to her left, gets it to Raggio, and a give and go move. Emily Cotting slips right through and gets the layup. 7-0 run for St. Mary's, and a timeout by Lisa Fortier. Gales fans letting them hear it, and so far has silenced the crowd here for Gonzaga. The give and go move, 7-0 run. Gonzaga 0 for 5, and it's the defense for St. Mary's. We'll be back shortly on the SMC IMG Radio Network. Back inside the Orleans Arena, and an early St. Mary's 7-0 lead. With 6:57 left in the first quarter, forced Lisa Fortier to call a timeout. St. Mary's shooting 3 for 7 at 43%. Gonzaga 0 for 5 and a three-pointer, assisting in all made baskets for St. Mary's, the top ball movement team in the West Coast Conference. As we're back in action, Chandler Smith, Jill Townsend, left corner, swings it out. Laura Stockton, right wing three, off the mark, and Holland with a rebound. St. Mary's now forcing Gonzaga 0 for their 6 on their first 6 shot attempts. And Cotting, everyone's just slicing to the key there. Holland or Cotting, and Cotting that time, a kick ball violation. St. Mary's will have it. Holland will trigger it in. Simons now against Townsend, and stolen on the pass. Laura Stockton has numbers. Jill Townsend going up, and a foul called late. Hit her left hand, and she'll get 2 at the line. And we see on the replay she was hacked on the left arm going up. So the foul on Simons, second team foul overall for St. Mary's, first on Sam. As the first one is good, and that's the first bucket for Gonzaga, thanks to a free throw by Jill Townsend. Townsend makes both. As Cotting now in transition, the give and go to Holland. Will swing it to McKay, but McKay wasn't looking. Townsend with the steal. Gonzaga now trying to capitalize on this turnover, and Ikira Rice in the paint. There it is, and a layup. 4-0 run since that timeout. A 7-4 St. Mary's lead with 6 minutes left in the first. Holland signaling for the screen by McKay. She'll kick it out in the left pocket three. Cotting with a bounce pass. Holland straight away three. Way off the mark. Just grazes the left side as Ikira Rice saves it, but gets it to Megan McKay. Right corner three-pointer. Raggio as she positions on Jen Worth. Cross-court skip past Simons with the ball fake on Townsend. Gets it to McKay, and the ball is tipped twice. And it'll be a turnover. Back-to-back turnovers for St. Mary's. And Gonzaga looking to capitalize. St. Mary's with 3 turnovers to Gonzaga's 1. Coach Paul Thomas off of his seat, standing by the St. Mary's bench, as Stockton will swing it to Loetta. Loetta drives by the St. Mary's defense, and looks like it was poked away by a St. Mary's defender. Will go out of bounds, stays with Gonzaga. 13 seconds on the shot clock, as Stockton will be the catalyst to inbound it. And the bounce pass to Townsend to Zykira Rice near the mid-block on the far right side, and she'll get it with a jumper. 6-0 run now for Gonzaga, and a 7-6 St. Mary's lead. 5 minutes left in the first quarter. A back and forth after a 7-0 St. Mary's run. Gonzaga answers on the timeout with a 6-0 run of their own. Holland with a high pass to Simons, and hands there by Townsend, pokes it out of play. 4 points for Zykira Rice off of the layup in transition and the turnover. And the basket on the elbow jump shot on the last possession as Holland drives. Tough contested layup, no good, but Raggio is there to clean it up. And Sydney Raggio with her first points on the offensive board. Stockton kills the ball, gives it to Zykira Rice, and an open jumper in transition. No one was guarding her, and that's an easy right elbow jump shot for Rice. Cross-court skip pass. Cotting uncorks the 3 ball, had the arc, but off back iron. Loetta now for Gonzaga. In front of the St. Mary's bench. Cross-court skip pass. Simons with the hands, and McKay will get the steal. 9-8, Gales advantage. Simons to Holland, the extra pass. Pocket 3 for Cotting. Money. Emily Cotting with 5 points, leading the way for the Gales. 12-8, and St. Mary's 2 for 4 from the 3-point line. That's good to see for St. Mary's. And the screen by Stockton. Off-ball foul.
Brandon Cadiz here after a 5-3 win for the Gales in the first game of the WCC Conference, here with Kevin Milam and Ryan Novus. First off here, Kevin, you're on a hot streak, back-to-back great performances pitching-wise today. 7 innings pitched. Just talk about your mindset coming in today for the first game of the West Coast Conference and securing that win.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Once we get into these conference games, it's, every game counts. We say that all the time, but once we get into conference, it really, every game does matter, and every game we play it like, it's the last game of the season. So, I was definitely ready to come in and get this thing going.
Yeah, and this is a Pacific team that's projected to finish near the bottom of the division, but today they played you guys pretty tough.
Yeah, whenever we first get into conference, every team's going to play everybody tough. It doesn't matter what you're projected, and they're a good team. They can swing, they're physical, so, and Reynoso, who started for them, I think he has like a career 0 ERA against us, so it was good to finally get him.
And here with Ryan Novus. Ryan, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you've reached base safely in 9 straight appearances. Just talk about your mindset coming into this game and continuing that hot streak. You're not necessarily looking for the hit every time, but you're able to help your team get on base.
Yeah, no, I'm really trying to stay with my approach, and that pitcher, Reynoso's been killing us. So I've been really trying to, stay on the off speed and look for, trying to hit a fastball up the middle, and just recognizing the pitches has been huge for me. And he's a good pitcher and he's mixed well, so I was able to find some holes today.
Yeah, talk about that 6th inning. You guys had 2 outs and 6 straight people reached on base, really getting that 4 runs in that inning. Talk about just the big time inning there in the 6th.
Yeah, that's a big inning for us, and that's something that is huge for us, is those 2 out runs, especially with no one on base. I think all of our runs today came with 2 outs and starting with no one on base. Just knowing that the inning is never over, we can still score at any time.
How's the hand feeling?
Just not feeling too great,
yeah,
but I'll be okay.
Awesome. St. Mary's takes that one today here. We'll do it again tomorrow against Pacific for Game 2 at 1 o'clock. Brandon Cadiz here, a 12-7 win for the Gales, completing the first sweep of the season in West Coast Conference play. We're here with Austin Chauvin. Austin, talk to me about that big inning there. You guys got all 9 runs in that inning in the 3rd with 2 outs. How does it feel with just hitting that bases clearing triple for your team coming back?
It was awesome, man. We were down early in the game, 4-0, and just to come back in that inning, and kind of fight back was something that we always talk about, and just coming back like that was really good to see, and hitting that triple was obviously some icing on the cake, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you guys did it all with 2 outs. I mean, we've seen that this entire series, just battling with 2 outs and just being able to come back and get those runs in. How big of a confidence booster is that for your team hitting-wise?
It's pretty big. Coach V talks about just we're never down. Like, we're never out of it. 2 outs. We're always trying to figure out something to do. So even if it's 2 outs, we're never out of it. So that's usually what Coach V says when there's 2 outs. So it was pretty good to get those runs all in 2 outs.
And an 8-game winning streak, 3-0 here in conference play. How good does it feel to start the season off just sweeping a team, and how does the team feel overall right now?
Well, we're feeling really good right now. Every game matters. So last year, I don't know if you guys know, we came down to like the last game that mattered. We ended up losing. So just to get this sweep is something really important for us. Every game matters, and it's a really good start to the conference. So
appreciate it. Thank you. Here with head coach Paul Thomas before the second round of the Women's National Invitational Tournament here, taking on a familiar opponent the third time this season, the Pepperdine Waves. Talk to me what the philosophy is to guard Yasmin Robinson-Baycoat today. I mean, she obviously won Conference Player of the Year for a reason. Talk to me about how do you stop her? She averages 20 points a game.
Yeah, she's a very good scorer, Brandon. It's a matter of making her shots difficult. I mean, she's going to score points. The key is not to let her get easy baskets, not to let her score off offensive rebounds, and not to let her just get a lane directly to the rim, because if she does that, she's very good at putting the ball in the basket. She can create shots for other teammates. So I think we can do that. If she gets her 20 and we win, I will take that. I'm not worried about her scoring her 20 points. She's a very, very good player, and she's difficult to stop because she's got a multifaceted game offensively. So we just have to make sure we're making it hard for her.
Talk to me about the guard, Barbara Santongan. She's not necessarily the best shooter, but she draws a lot of contact and gets to the free throw line every time in the game, averages around 7 free throws per game.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's a big, big key. We've already, as soon as we found out we were advancing, they were advancing, that was one of the first 2 things we talked about, was keeping her and Baycoat off the line. Those 2 are in the top 15 in the nation, getting to the free throw line and making. So that's key. You cannot foul them. So that if you keep them off the free throw line, you limit Baycoat to about 6 points below her average, and you limit Santongan quite a bit also. I mean, she's not averaging. A lot of her points are from the free throw line, so you can't foul them. And the key thing is when they're playing downhill like that, don't foul them. If they make a tough layup, then we'll be okay with that. A tough layup, not a layup. Got to make it a tough layup, a contested layup, and I would be happy with that.
And when you look at their three-point shooting, obviously the key there is Rose Flug. She had half of the three-pointers last time at Pepperdine. Is she the main three-point shooter you guys are looking at, or are you guys going to guard everyone on perimeter?
Well, Bambrick is another kid that you got to guard. And if I'm not mistaken, Rose Flug is 7 for 12 against us from 3 points. So we're obviously going to guard her. We're not going to say, okay, can you do that again? We're not going to do that. That's a point of emphasis, is not to let her – our goal is not to let her get any three-point shots off. So to do that, you can't let Bambrick, Baycoat, and Santongan penetrate, because that's if you're allowing those kids to penetrate too deep, then you're going to have to come off and help, and then that gets your rotation out of whack, and you just can't do that. You just got to stop the drive.
And when we're talking and going back to Robinson Baycoat, are you guys going to double team or front her early, or is it just the same philosophy to stick to zone?
No, we probably won't. We're going to start in man. I mean, we're going to start. We're going to switch. We're switching everything except Meg. We're not, as I said, we're just going to make it hard for her. If they're going to throw her the ball every single time and she's going to shoot it every time, I like our chances.